if we stop doing it, it goes away. I don't know if I've said that to you before, but it's like, as you grow older, you realize that like if you stop participating in that culture, then it doesn't exist without you. You know, if you're like the only one left, then that's it. Like you're the last of your tribe or whatever, and you have to keep it going if you want it to exist.
Yeah. I miss speaking to you. It's great.
It's nice to speak to you.
You look like a Swedish undercover police agent.
Well, that's true.
And that's a compliment.
Yeah, no, it's very important to wear a tie. People take you more seriously.
Yeah.
I put it on especially because I knew.
Okay.
Not that I need to be taken seriously. In fact, most of what I do is very unserious.
Okay.
You know that, right? Especially with the music. The music is really like on that balance between very, very sad and very, very unserious. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Season 2.
Yeah. This is so cool.
Everything's filthy dirty, so don't put your nice clothes on stuff.
Okay.
Maybe you can up here is slightly better, but I will be providing a chair.
Okay. Do you have your coffee?
Yes, because I'm a rock star now. I wear these glasses because I play the rock music. Wait, what's in your thermos?
Just water.
Oh, good work.
And vodka.
Very nice.
So, how do we do this?
Well, we sit. The last film, it wasn't very patient, or it was very fast-paced. That day, it was a very busy day, I thought.
Yeah. You took me through the fields.
Yeah, we went
through
for
the
a ride.
churches, and we haven't had so much time in the studio, which was a reason also to say let's spend a bit more time now inside these four walls.
I don't know. There's so much, like so many questions that people raise that I'm like, that's a good point. I want to get back to that. Like, loads of people said nice things, and I kind of just like that kind of just turns to dust. But then when someone criticizes it, I'm like, whoa, now, you know, that's the guy. That's the person I need to like engage in the conversation with, because maybe that person is, you know, they could be a troll, just like being ranting at me, so I shouldn't take that seriously, or they could be someone who sees through my bullshit, and then I should listen to that because it's kind of good to be concrete and clear and do good science, or, you know, there's someone who is kind of on the fence about whether they want to be doing creative things or whether they don't want to be doing creative things, and then they're looking at me and they're like, I could do that better, and I'm like, well, you have to do it better, because if you don't do it, then it's just me doing it, and if you disagree with me, then like that's who, you know, that's what the art will be. If it's just me doing it and you're not doing it and I'm doing it, then everyone's only going to see what I'm doing and they're not going to see what you're doing, and yours might be more directly related to your own life and your own voice, which is also important, which people need to hear, but you're not doing it and I'm doing it. We're stuck, you know, we're going around in circles, so you've got to do it, you know, rather than fucking shouting at me in a YouTube video. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that that's like a really big part of this, like why come back and do another video. That's not really what you asked me, but you said like, how am I doing?
Yeah, how are you doing?
How am I doing? I think in general, like really good. Obviously, bigger studio, the walls, you know, more walls. We've got them. Made more paintings, had more shows, more exciting things are happening. You know, like that whole kind of, in terms of capitalism, I'm doing better. You know, fine. In terms of like mentally, I think maybe, ups and downs. Like times that have been incredible. You know, sitting around, eating really nice food. Made a stew the other day for my friends. Like fed 13 people with this stew. And it was like a really good, you know, it's like I could cry. But then I'm also like, well, surely like everyone deserves that. You know, that's just normal. That's just like what we should be doing. We should be just making big food and sharing it with our friends every day.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. So, and there's enough resources to do that. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting political again. It's very easy to just drift back into politics.
Yeah.
I guess because I've got a lot, I've got a lot to say.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to quote Gandhi after two minutes here, but he said, "My life is my message." So everything we do is.
Did you say that?
Is important. Yeah.
It's crazy because I think about this, like if you're just your whole life is you're part of like a massive brain.
Yeah.
And you're just a little synapse, and your whole job is to just fire off one synapse. What's it called when they do that thing? They just like pass electricity from one place to another place.
Transmission.
Yeah, and that's like your whole thing is just like to get the thing from one place to the next place, from A to B, and that's your whole life. And you don't know what it is, but you'll know when you die, or you might not know when you die, but maybe after you die you'll know, or maybe you'll never know. But it's like the whole. Everything is the lesson and the mission and the experience all rolled into one thing. So yeah, I mean, on average, doing fine.
Yeah.
Doing good. But this is the thing. So I think, and one of these realizations recently was that I make a lot of images, share a lot of images, right? So we're talking in images, and the images are a kind of, they're a language, like a body language, but they're also not the whole story, and they can be interpreted in different ways, and that they can fire off different responses from me to they would, like, in a different person. To they would in a different person? It's definitely not. A lot of what I'm doing is reactionary image sharing. So I see a lot of images and I react to those images. I think a lot of things and I react to those things. And like I was saying before, I feel like part of my practice is this learning and teaching thing. It's not just like me sitting up there being like, this is what I think, da-da-da. It is that, but I never said, and I want to make this clear, I never said I knew what I was talking about. Or, I know what I'm saying sometimes, I know what I'm doing sometimes, I'm 100% completely sure of some things. That's the sensation, is that I know exactly what I'm doing, and I have the full intention and the authority to say what I say and to do what I do and to make the marks that I make, right? More about that. Less when I'm talking, more when I'm painting. But when I'm talking, this is another part of the practice, another part of the whole artworks. Something to do with kind of oral storytelling or expressing yourself, or all of that rolled into one. It's like, it's very important to talk. It's like we're recording it, and then I can hear it back, and then I can disagree with it, or I can say, oh, that's slightly changed now. And I watched the film again, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I would have said that again, or because we had primed the conversation in such a way, that's why I said what I said then. But if a different person had asked me, or if we'd had a different conversation, maybe I would have said something else, or like we said about those paintings with the fire, and I said it's about this kind of stress, and it is that, but again, it's lots of other things as well, and we were talking about the similarity and the words inflammation in your body, and the fire and flames and burnout, again, like another thing to do with fire, and like this kind of idea that fire in the creative lexicon, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Like when people use this word fire or talk about hot things in creativity, it's supposed to be a good thing. I went off on a tangent, but part of the practice, I think, for a lot of people is to talk about the ideas and hold them up for scrutiny, and some people can shit on them and some people can shoot them down. And some people can say, I agree with that. And going back to that thing when we're talking about groups of people, a lot of people know what I'm talking about. And I'm just expressing the same thing that they're expressing. And that I'm the one in front of the camera, so I'm saying it. But like all of these guys saying, ooh, this guy's a dickhead or whatever. This guy's a tool. Someone said, this guy's a tool. And I'm like, I never said that I was right, like in a fascist way, and I was only trying to express something as a beginner, you know, as a person who's curious about all of the things that I'm seeing. So in a way, sure, I'm a tool, but I'm a tool for unlocking your mind. No, I'm kidding. And now I'm worried that we're recording all of these ideas with the heater, and it's not even serving us.
Do you want to turn it a bit?
The way that people present themselves, well, like, you know, this whole thing, it's like a video. I know I'm being filmed, you're filming, we're recording, so in a way we're documenting, so it's as if I'm writing stuff down. It's as if we're making notes together. And we're making notes kind of about my practice, but also about both of our experiences being alive. And I think you're making films about creative people talking about being alive. Up until a few weeks ago, maybe I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, the individual is kind of a myth. It's something that was made to sell toys to children. You know, it's like a thing that doesn't really fit with how I instinctually feel about being alive. But people are constantly bombarding you with like, oh, you like this, and you need this, and you say this, and you don't say this, and all of that. And I was very much like, well, we're all part of a big collective thing. I have this sensation that I'm part of a larger whole. That makes complete intuitive sense. You know, like a lot of things seem to make sense when you think about them. You know, why would I... You asked me how I was doing, and I talked about having dinner with my friends. It's like, you know, I exist as part of something larger than me, and that's what gives me pleasure, or you know, it's like gives me a reason to do things. And I can see. I just remembered a poem that I could read. But I can see. I can't remember what it was, but I can see in the thing that which made it, or something like that. You know, like I can see that I'm part of something greater than myself, and everything I make is going back into that. So it's like this kind of give and take. So when you're sitting there on your own making these paintings or whatever, like what we said in the car just now, like it's very important to let those responses come and to face them, and to sort of spend time with them, to look at them. And that doing that thing is what is the biggest benefit to everyone else. Like if you articulate your thoughts, you let them stand in the air in this world with us, and you can see whether they're kind of this truth that we were talking about, or whether they are this other thing, which is more like a creation of the mind, of the human mind, or anyone's mind. You know, I can think up an idea and it's not true, but it's a nice story, right? And we can enjoy that, and we can enjoy that for a short amount of time. But if we start to like change our lives to try and get that thing back, we'll never get it back, because it doesn't exist like food exists or air exists, right? It was just a thought, and it happened once, and we can't just keep trying to relive it. It doesn't work. It's got to change. Change is natural. Change is part of the universe. Like really, really big change is happening all the time, and if we try and prevent that, we're going to make ourselves sick, right? I don't know if I'm just preaching to the choir, but it's like, like that whole thing, like underpinning everything, there is this reality that we all interact with, and when we hands-on interact with the physical world, that's the liberation, right? And when you realize, sorry microphone, when you realize that you are part of that larger whole, then you can find your individuality, right? And it's like you understand that there is these thresholds, and when you decide where those thresholds are, where you place them, then you place yourself. It's important to understand that you're part of everything else, but it's also important to understand where you end and where everything begins, and that's your own personal liberation, right? And if you let other people make that choice for you, you're going to get sick because you're not going to understand how you got there, and there is no shortcuts. You know, this is another amazing thing about making the video with you. Loads of younger people have been like asking me, oh, how do I do this, or what should I do here, or, you know, advice. And it's like, well,
go to church, son.
Well, maybe, but it's like there is no shortcut. There's no way of me giving it to you. You have to do it for yourself, and you have to find your own way there. Because if you don't find your way there, then it's irrelevant. When we had an exhibition in London, me and my friend Hattie talked back and forth for ages about the ideas we wanted to put into the show, and then kind of started with, we were talking about these synchronicities. Do you know about that term?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like we had these synchronicities in the images that we were making and sharing with each other, and then the ideas that underpin them, and then also the experiences that kind of were happening around this conversation became more and more synchronicitous.
Yeah.
And I was getting more and more tired because I was pushing myself, and I really wanted to get the show together, and I was doing like other things at the same time, and it all kind of got too much. And I'm sitting in the back of, driven for sort of 6 hours, and I was sitting in the back of the van on tour at this venue or wherever it was. I think it was in Sheffield or Leeds or something. And I was just Googling where that term synchronicity came from. And it was this professor, you know, doctor, scientist, can't remember, had made it up.
Wasn't it Carl Jung? At least he wrote a
Maybe.
big book about it. It's a big part of his body of work, at least.
Yeah, it could have been, but I feel like it was somebody else, because they were working on patients with psychosis, and it was like he was trying to like map the symptoms of psychosis.
Okay.
And I was sitting there like, holy shit, I've just pushed myself over the edge this time. Because it kind of, somehow the first image that Hattie had shared had come back at this moment as well. So I just kind of, she was painting these labyrinths. And I was kind of stuck in my mind and was presented with this image of a labyrinth. And then I asked her about it, and she was like, oh yeah, like I was painting these labyrinths because of talking about something to do with psychosis. I can't really remember exactly what it was, but she'd basically started with psychosis. We'd gone on this whole thing that I didn't realize, and we come back to psychosis, and it was just too much for me. And I thought, I've actually pushed myself into crazy here. And I felt, for the first time in a long time, I felt like dangerously mentally unstable. Luckily it didn't last very long, but I remember thinking that part of this creative mission, if left untethered, you're just blindly jumping into you're crazy.
Yeah.
And a little bit of that in your room on your own, painting and making art on your own, is a good idea. But unchecked and unmediated on your own, it's also very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I don't take it lightly when someone comes up and says, you know, they're an aspiring artist and they're on their own with it, you know, and they're lonely, because I think that can be a very dangerous environment to put yourself in, but a very brave place as well. Like if you're really willing to face these internal places on your own, head on, it's big stuff. And it's kind of easier if you have self-medicated, or if you've taken drugs or whatever, because you know that it's probably likely the drugs has got something to do with it. But if it's just you and just art, that can be really crazy, because then you end up like me, and I've been doing this kind of 10 years, not in full-time work or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, well, is this crazy? Am I getting sick? Am I killing myself?
Yeah.
The paint is poisonous. The room is moldy. Everything is feels like really dangerous stuff in a way. It's like, yeah, sure, like no one asked me to do that. No one told me, oh, I should go and do that thing. But, you know, here we are. As an artist, right, we have all of these things like, yeah, you need a studio, you need paintings, you need paintbrushes, da-da-da. But like, you're also priming yourself to kind of create these responses to the world without anything. So it's like, yeah, if you're given paint, you're going to try and use the paint to respond. Or if you're a dancer, you use your body. Or if you're a writer, you use the words, or storytelling, or photography, or any of these different art forms. It can come in any way. And I feel like with me, it's like it can come in any way. I'm not just a painter. But being a painter is way more respected almost. It's like, an artist, a painter, doctor, a builder, a therapist, a pianist, all of those things, they're like unnecessary. Whereas the those are like, a painter. It's like people want it. Sorry. Why does that happen? We don't know. But with the art, it's like you have your mind and you have your body, and your body is made of the physical world, and therefore it's like the resource. At the end of it, if you have no paint, no brushes, no anything, you still have the body, and the body is part of the whole. So you kind of have like a connection to the infinite through having this physical body. But then the capitalism thing is a poison to that, because it's like, oh, you can have the infinite through your energy, but we'll take that energy out of you. And it's like, you're being harvested, or that energy is harvested by this system that is like very unforgiving. It's like, yeah, sure, I've got a studio, but it's like every month that comes into question. I pay for my rent. It's all of these things that constantly, even if I've like made enough paint or sold enough paintings or whatever it is, it's still, I don't take it for granted that I have these resources at my disposal at the moment. But you do always have a body, and you have this sensation that you've always had a body, and that you can kind of infinitely use that. But the older you get, the harder it is to recharge your energy and all of those things, and the more the weight of the world comes, and the more you have experiences, and your innocence is lost, and all of these things build and build and build, and those can become physical symptoms of this thing, which is a great weight on you. So. And then you end up with these panics, right? And you end up with these like huge sensations that can last days. And the way to like articulate that isn't always clear, and you can try and get it out in painting, or you can try and get it out in these other ways, and a lot of it is relatable to other people, so you can talk about how you're feeling. But it feels very incredible to be able to create artworks which people can read with the same language that your body can read. So your body language, again, like, your body can look at a painting and feel different. And that's something that's kind of one of the key anchors, like why painting's still here, why we're still making paintings, still talking about paintings, just that like your body can understand them. It goes like directly into your, and a lot of the paintings, the figures in the paintings that I make, they have these kind of gestures and poses that reflect these types of liberation from those traps. And I don't know. I still definitely do not have the answers.
But what does ultimately matter to you right now? Is there something that is very dominant in your life right now, like a theme when you speak about liberation? Is that something where you feel like this is something you seek that, or do you seek something in your work, or are you actually comfortable and confident with how it is right now? Of course, let's not talk about all the horrors that are happening in the world, but if we can speak about you in your body, in your community here. I mean, is there something you search in these images for yourself?
That's a very good question. I don't know. I wish I had a clear response.
But do you feel liberated within your doings? Like you I mean, it to me it almost feels like it, right? But then sometimes this tension comes back and I think holds us into its pause.
I think there is a need to fulfill the ideas and give space to the ideas, because I spend a lot of time thinking, and I feel like a lot of the paintings, it's hard to just say paintings, because I think I need to talk about how the Instagram thing works, because it's kind of like you're showing a series of photographs, some text, and audio. And so that's like an art form in itself. And it's quite performative, it's quite responsive, but it's backed up by paintings, photography, video. You can put anything into this thing and share it to a huge group of people. So in terms of that, it's different to painting. So I'll do paintings, and then I'll do whatever that is. And again, like what I was saying about defining terms, what is that? That thing, it doesn't really have a name, and I think we're living in a sort of time where you're not fully aware of what it is you're even doing most of the time. Like, what is that? Like, that's not a thing that has a lineage that's longer than 5 years, maybe. I don't, like what? We don't even have terms for that. So I feel a great sense of responsibility now, having an audience, and like that audience seems to enjoy what I'm saying. But I definitely feel like we're not anywhere near the place where I feel like I could be for this kind of communication. And this, like, is the thing that I strive for, I suppose. I have these ideas, I spend a lot of time thinking. I'm like, I know other people think like this. I want to meet those people, I want to interact with those people. I want those people and me to make the things that we're dreaming of, because it's like lots of problems in the world, like you said, and we won't touch on them, but the only way out of that is by working together. And it's not just working together in politics and working together in the factories, or, with energy or space or any of those big problems. I don't know if space is a problem, but in a spiritual sense, in a community sense, like that, again, we don't know if there has been a time in history where more than, how many Instagram followers have I got? How many people watched that video? Like, when was the last time all of those people sat in a room and agreed on something? We don't even know if that's possible. So if it was to like turn around and I actually had the resources to actually make these things, like kind of systems, devices, I don't know, like some sort of practical application to the ideas that underpin the work, which I suppose is what I'm striving for. I mean, would it even be possible to make those things? This is what like defeats me, because it's like, I'm striving for a better world, whatever. I'm striving for less injustice. I think that's the thing. Like, a lot of the paintings have a real like justice in them. There's like clear defined terms, and there's scientific concrete resources, and then there's romantic ideas of how things should be, and then compromise. It's like, I would like it if everyone had the best they could get, but I understand that that's kind of impossible for everyone to get the best every time. Again, going back to this kind of the American dream, or a lot of the capitalist dream is that everything can be perfect all the time. And I don't know if that's true. And I feel like if everything was perfect all the time, we'd become drones, or we'd become robots, or we'd become less connected to the reality of the world. And we can see that you know, asteroids smash into celestial bodies all the time. Big change happens all the time. Big damage, big violence happens. So we can't shy away from that, but we can't glorify it either. We can't be like, oh, because planets explode means that we have to explode each other. That's not right either. We have to definitely find acceptance in our suffering, acceptance in our situation, and through that we find our peace. And I think a lot of people will probably get annoyed at that, because